you'll see whoever needs to use these new technologies the most are going to be the first ones to use it. That's why Silk Road really took off in the beginning of Bitcoin, is because you had a lot of like negative attention on Bitcoin, and you had a lot of positive attention on Bitcoin. And when it was so new, I guess the drug dealers said, wow, this is like an amazing product. We're being pushed out of the banking networks. They're getting really, really compliant. Let's move over to this new thing called Bitcoin. And that's how Bitcoin became this huge Wild West. And this was 2 years ago. And it was super scary because a lot of saying, wow, Bitcoin is drug dealers, it's illicit activity, it's money laundering, it's mafia, it's all this. But the true believers, the guys like you guys sitting here today, when people have started startups, really saw the true value in Bitcoin and its infrastructure and what Satoshi built. Satoshi built this amazing product, and then he disappeared. And I think that I don't know why he would have disappeared, but some reasons I like to think is that he wanted Bitcoin to grow organically, and he wanted us to really grow it ourselves. And Bitcoin is ours, it's not his. Even if he came back, there's no control he can take over. There's no control over Bitcoin. Just like the foundation, there are 5 board seats that make these decisions, but at the same time, in 2 years from now, there's going to be an election, and all the 5 board seats will be replaced. The Bitcoin Foundation, just like Bitcoin itself, was built in a way that it's fully autonomous and it's run by people. And I'm hesitant to say Bitcoin is the people's currency because I'll be called a communist, and I've said in places, so it's not, but it is in a way because it takes the power of fiscal and monetary policy out of the hands of the government, back in the hands of the people. But that's not to say that it's all free and clear. You have to know your customer. I'm going to say it again. You have to know your customer. Any startup, any Bitcoin company, anyone doing anything in the Bitcoin space, you have to know your customer. It's a very, very big problem when you have someone trying to start a Bitcoin company and saying, you know what, I'm just going to not care, I'm just going to let anyone use my system and have a nice day. You can't do that, because if you're going to be operating a company in the United States, and if you're going to have employees, if you're going to be paying them health benefits, if you're going to be paying them salaries, if you're going to be running and operating a real company, you have to be compliant in that country. Whether or not you agree with the laws or not, you gotta follow them, or you gotta leave. Or you can change them. And you can work really, really hard on changing them. That's one of the things the foundation is trying to do, is to say, like, you look at the money transmission laws. We live in the United States of America. But for some reason, if you want to start any payments company, you need to go to 48 different regulatory agencies in 48 states and register pretty much the same type of application in each one. Why? And it's been tried over and over again to uniform the money transmission law, but it's extremely difficult because I guess there are a bunch of reasons, but the states want to be able to make bank off of it. They want to be able to enforce it themselves. State sovereignty is really important. There's the whole libertarian mindset part of it, but who really knows? All I know is that America is a place of innovation, and the more regulation we put on it, the worse it's going to get, and we're just going to push people out. So I think Bitcoin working together with different companies, with banks, with payment systems, can do really, really great, amazing things. I think that Bitcoin in places like Africa and the Middle East can really harness amazing, amazing technology. So there are a lot of challenges when it comes to regulatory stuff. With KYC, you have to know your customer. But at the same time, the whole term of anti-money laundering was a bank-invented term. And really, I like to use KYC, know your customer, a lot better, because it doesn't sound like it's like a criminal. When you open up a bank account or do anything financial related, I personally feel like, and a lot of people I speak to feel like, you're treated like a criminal on the outside. And you're having to like prove yourself. And in America, it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But when you get audited with things like the IRS, it's more like guilty until proven innocent. And that's how the whole financial regulation took hold over that. Any questions so far?
What kind of KYC does Bitstamp do?
So Bitstamp right now, we do basic OFAC, of course. We have to check your names against the Office of Foreign Assets Control. And we built a 3-tiered KYC system, which says that, look, if you don't want to trust us with your social security number, that's fine. We can't put you on such high limits yet. If you don't want to give us your ID, that's okay too. We can't put you on high limits yet. But we still need to ask you basic information. We'll start you off with a $500 a day limit, start you off with $1,000 a day limit. It's more of like, you trust us, we trust you type of situation. And that was kind of frowned on. A lot of regulators frowned on that with me. But I said, it's going to work. And it has been working so far. And I'm really excited to see that work. Great question. And that's so those are some of the challenges. But in terms of the future and ideas, you have something like cash. And cash has seen many different forms going back thousands of years. And you take a case study, if you look at Africa now, cell phone credit. Cell phone credit is cash. It's treated like money over there. And you need the ability to be able to connect these local networks like M-Pesa in Africa, like the dollar like we have here in the US, like whatever currencies are used all over the world, you have a local currency. If you have that ability to connect it uniformly, you can really create this like global currency. And not just Bitcoin like traded between people, but if someone gives me cash here, I can use Bitcoin as more of a back-end settlement to be able to move our money around the world and connect all these payment networks. And that's another thing Ripple is trying to do, and I think Ripple is extremely complementary to Bitcoin in that it has this really, really good infrastructure to it. It's a little complicated, I'm trying to understand it, but it's a value transfer system as I understand it best. And I'm going to see where that goes. But Bitcoin inherently is a protocol, just like voice over IP or email. And I hate when people tell me, oh, Bitcoin was hacked. Really? I sent them an article how $45 million was stolen from an ATM machine last week. The dollar was hacked, I tell them. Really? It's not that complicated to understand how Bitcoin works. So sure, there's a learning curve, but if you really try at it, you can understand it pretty well. And just like anything important in the world, you don't need to understand the intricacies of how the internet works to be able to know what the internet does or how email works, and things like that. Any questions? Just shout it out if you got anything.
What happened with your relationship with Trust Cash?
Great question. So in the beginning, right now with BitInstant, the question you asked, what happened with Trust Cash? In the beginning with BitInstant, we had a system where you could walk into any bank, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, or Citibank, and actually deposit cash in one of our accounts. And we're using the Trust Cash software platform to do that, to be able to buy Bitcoin. And the banks at first, they gave us their permission, but it was a little shaky. And then one day, they said no more, and that was it. They shut us down. I had no notice. I just got an email saying, sorry, it's all over, and we had to scramble. Thankfully, I met some great people over at ZipZap, and they had built this network where you can essentially use the registers of places like 7-Eleven, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens. And we partnered up with them exclusively and set up a system that we work together hand in hand with them, that you can walk into any 7-Eleven, Walmart, CVS, Dwayne Reed, Walgreens, Albertsons, and buy Bitcoin at these locations. And we're going all over the world. We're going to the UK, we're going to Australia, we're already in Russia, we're going to South America, we're already in Brazil now. You can buy Bitcoin at any of our locations, at any bank or post office in Brazil. And by doing so, if we're connecting all of these locations, connecting all of these countries in the world, a cash transaction in Brazil is just like a cash transaction in the United States. And that's what we're trying to do at the same time. So customer has Bitcoin, you just look at it like this. Someone comes up to us and says, I'd like to be able to send money home to my family in Russia. And I say, okay, great. Go to BitInstant, buy $500 worth of Bitcoin. They do for a low fee. And they send the Bitcoins over to their family member in Russia. They can go to a Russian location and cash out. And what they did was, instead of relying on one company to go all the way, they kept the Bitcoins themselves. The fees were a lot lower. And it took only about an hour to do so, even less if you wanted to. So you're connecting all of these kind of global locations through Bitcoin. And that, I think, is something that needs to be explored. Global remittance is one thing that Bitcoin can do really, really well. So you have people say like, well, what can I spend Bitcoin with? Where can I go? And now you can really go anywhere. You can use gifts and buy any gift card with that, thanks to the BitPay guys. You can buy Reddit Gold. You can use WordPress. You can go to, thousands of stores. I have a bar in New York City called Ever. You can come in and pay for your drinks and Bitcoin.